All 7 of us agree that they have a right to respond, but they should respond in proportion.
As the White House has their focus set on recovery efforts for Helene, they're also trying to keep an eye on the potential for an all-out war in the Middle East.
President Biden says he spoke with G7 leaders prior to leaving for North Carolina yesterday. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu promising revenge against Iran for the rocket strikes launched Tuesday. Joining us live to talk this morning about the latest developments is UNC-Chapel Hill political science professor Navin Bapat. Navin, thank you so much for taking the time this morning.
Thank you.
Let's start here, and this is something we were talking about in the newsroom. People obviously are concerned about what's going on in western North Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Florida, but also there needs to be concern about what's going on in the Middle East. And can you explain kind of why this is such a dire situation, how close this is to breaking out into something even bigger?
Sure. So the U.S. has long seen the Middle East as sort of, it's been a protectorate of the United States, and several of the states in the United States, or several of the states in the region, rely on the United States for security. There are extensive defense ties and contracts with these states. So it's long been a bastion of U.S. Influence in the world. It's also a critical point for getting energy to the world. A large majority of the world's energy is coming from that particular region. So any disruption can potentially harm the entire global ecosystem, especially if you look at the Houthi attacks in the Red Sea. That's a critical passage through Bab el-Mandab, which makes its way, where energy makes its way and supplies make its way from Asia to Europe. So it is a critical point to think about, and any escalation between Iran and Israel potentially harms that larger ecosystem, which can mean higher energy prices, shortages, and potentially harm to the larger global system.
So in the last couple of days, we've seen Iran start to get into the mix, and missiles being sent over to Israel, and possible U.S. interception of some of those missiles. So we've got a lot of players, right? We've got the northern border issue going on with Hezbollah and Lebanon. We've got Gaza and Hamas. So we got all these different issues happening. What is the strategy right now when you look at Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu? Obviously security, but when you've got 3 issues happening at the same time, what do you think the strategy is there?
So it's not clear. I think it's not perfectly articulated to me, but I think the idea is, so the first strategy was to eliminate Hamas in Gaza, which is a long-standing operation since October 7th. Again, Israel has done pretty significant damage in Gaza. It's taken off some of the key leaders of Hamas. But the end point of that is not clearly articulated. With Hezbollah, I think the goal is also to degrade Hezbollah, which Israel has pretty clearly done with the pagers and with other attacks against the leadership of Hezbollah. It's been quite successful. With Iran, again, I'm not sure what Israel wants to do there. It could be that they escalate against Iranian assets in Lebanon, or it could be they start to attack as they did in Yemen, or perhaps in some other areas against Iran. But that's a very dangerous situation where things can escalate and get pretty quickly out of control between those two big powers who have several other states in between them, so that could potentially drag this region into a pretty significant conflict. And so it's not clear yet, but we'll have to watch.
And Navin, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I know we're short on time. I do want to ask this. So what is a tipping point, or did we already see it with the Iranian attack on Israel there? Because we know that tensions are very high. Iran says if Israel attacks again, there will be repercussions. Benjamin Netanyahu already planning an attack. What is the tipping point, or have we already passed that in the Middle East?
So I don't think we've already passed that. I think what these attacks actually show, for at least to me, is that while Iran did attack Israel, it did not use all of its assets against Israel, right? And so it didn't telegraph it like it did in a previous attack against Israel, but it didn't use all of its potential capabilities in its attack against Israel. And I would say Iran probably has a big incentive to avoid a conflict right now, given their own economic situation and given some instability within the regime. I don't think they want the bigger war, but they probably do have more assets to bear. So it really is a question of how Israel responds right now.